From Dakar to Johannesburg, from Addis Ababa to Midrand, Africa's leading minds and policymakers gathered to reflect, debate, and redefine the continent's path forward. Hosted by the University of Johannesburg, the African Union Development Agency, NEPAD, Trust Africa, and ECOSOC, this two-day symposium explored one bold theme: the new scramble for Africa: reparations, conflict, and resource sovereignty. The symposium opened with powerful calls for unity.
We really have to rise up as the continent.
Critical reflection and a pan-African awakening.
From the discussion since yesterday, I think we are beginning to see new consciousness, not from top down to bottom, but from bottom up. Africans are trying to take hold of their destiny. They want to take ownership of their natural resources. They want to see a more functional African Union acting as that potent, not just agency, but an important agency to promote peace and security on the continent, drive development, and also be a more formidable voice in multilateral forums, may it be the United Nations, the G20, and across border.
The message was clear: Africa must take ownership of its narrative and its resources. In his keynote address, former Niger Prime Minister and AUDA NEPAD CEO H.E. Dr. Ibrahim Mayaki challenged African states to redefine sovereignty and reclaim control of the continent's vast resources.
The best way that will bring our competitiveness is to have sound foundations for industrialization. And we will not reinvent the wheel. The sound foundation for industrialization, as it has happened in Asia, America, and Europe, will come from the agro-industry and the diversification of our economies, because we still have a lot of people living in rural areas. So that industrialization at the same time has to benefit from green technologies and has to benefit from science, because let us not forget, blockchain, artificial intelligence can help us really move quickly forward. But in this perimeter of thinking, the most important point is that these policies need to be defined from the bottom to the up. So a revision of the type of states that we have is important, so that it is opened to the citizens. So it's no longer bureaucrats in the center who must decide for everyone. We should move towards a co-production of public policies. So industrialization, this is what will allow us to create the 20 million jobs per year that we need in the next 20 years. It will help us grow through a learning curve of competitiveness, because we learn to be competitive as we industrialize. And thirdly, it will help us to increase our intra-Africa trade. And if we increase our intra-Africa trade, we'll be less dependent from the rest of the world.
Throughout the day, distinguished scholars and diplomats examined Africa's geopolitical position, from the contest for minerals to the call for reparative justice. Discussions explored the delicate balance between sovereignty, security, and global competition for Africa's wealth.
Now, Africa is stands at the critical stage today, as we speak. And Africa is the only, Africa can only liberate itself. Africa can only liberate itself. It cannot wait for any other force to liberate it. It's our duty and obligation to liberate ourselves today as the continent.
Africa's young scholars and thinkers presented fresh perspectives, challenging historical assumptions and calling for inclusive governance and youth-driven participation in the Pan-African agenda.
Young people are the have that demographic weight. We are majority of the population, over 60%, I think. And I think the new statistics by the African Union Youth Division show that it's around 400 million young people right now. So if you are talking issues like unemployment, joblessness, radicalization, declining economic activities, conflict even, those issues affect mostly young people. So if you are at any event or any table where you are discussing any resolutions around addressing those issues, then the people that are most affected should be the ones that are at the forefront. So when you're talking about participation should not just be young people attending meetings or young people being invited to come and sit somewhere in the background. It should be them being part of the strategy discussions. Right now, we're talking about Agenda 2063. Its reform, its revision should be led by young people because they are the ones that are going to be there in 2063.
As the curtains fell, one message resonated across every room. Africa's time is now. The future must be written by Africans for Africa.